Hello and welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Today we're going to continue on with the Volkswagen T1 Samba from DeAgostini, stage 114. You can see that the Samba is currently on her back, and that is because the next thing we are going to do is put the steering box together. And I have not moved it since the last video. Let me move it back a little bit so we can focus in a little bit on this area. I'm just looking at the steering wheel, making sure that it is straight. This is, I was like, the heck is going on here? Well, that ain't right. Hopefully that will fix itself when I turn it back over. The bumper should not be on upside down. Oh, that's awesome. I just looked at the front of it, and the reason the bumper is blocking the doors, and you would not notice this, it's actually out of camera. When I open the door, it's hitting the bumper. And the reason is, I just looked, and we're going to go ahead and fix that. I just looked, the bumper is upside down, the license plate is not. So when I take it off, and should have noticed this probably a long time ago, but I didn't. That's how things go. Come on. Come completely off of there. Okay, that's loose. And when I take the bumper off, you can see it would be upside down. So let's go ahead and take this and put it back in here. That's funny to me because I put that on months ago and never noticed in all this time that the bumper was upside down. Have to be able to laugh at yourself when you do something like that. So that's tight. That's tight. Let me see. Oh, look, door opens without a problem. Okay, now that we've sidetracked off into parts unknown, I still have not put these back in. Car's been upside down since I finished it, which I've said this before. Maybe it's cheating. I do videos back to back on the weekends. But, even if it's cheating, it works for me. It gives me a few videos to post and keeps my channel active. So we've got this pan here. I would call it an oil pan, but the engine's on the other end of the car. That is going to cover up all the internal workings once this part is done, and will actually hold this switch in place. Got some screws, some gears, and there's actually a universal joint right here. That's kind of cool. Wow. I do believe, and that, if it's true, is really awesome. Let's see, are they? Okay, so they are not, what is it, ferrous, but the steering system, other than the post coming out of the steering wheel, is metal. That is very cool. This cover is not metal, but these parts and the universal joint, all these parts are metal. That is really cool. I haven't seen that in a part work before. And I've got multiples that I'm doing. As a matter of fact, even on the figures that have movement, they're plastic gears, which means they're going to wear out. So the first thing you take, just double check the one they've got you putting in there is 114-1, which is the largest gear. 114-1 goes on. Now it goes. Just working it down. The one thing they don't provide is a little bit of shmoo. So it goes on here. Then your universal joint here. Just looking, it is a D-shaped hole. Oh, wait, you know what? That might be why that didn't go down very easily, because I put it in the wrong spot. Because they've got the car facing the opposite direction. Come on. Okay, I need to pause for a minute while I get that back off. It's not stuck, it's rotating, but it doesn't want to come off right now. Okay, took a little bit of messing with it, but I got it off. And now we'll put it back on the correct one. There we go. This one engages with the rack and pinion. Maybe. Interesting. Fit the large gear in the housing, and it is supposed to engage with the rack and pinion, but the rack and pinion appears to be too far forward. Come on. If this does not fit, that means my steering wheel will not work. That could be upsetting, but I've had many of these that the steering did not work, and it's odd how after it is put in place, it still doesn't fit all the way in. Nope, can't be that one. So if that's on there, that is truly odd, because it cannot go any further back. Let's just, for giggles, take this screw out and see. Yeah, that is as far as it can go back. And unless before we screw this up, let's put this back on here. Unless the plastic, which is possible, is too far back. Let's see, is there anything I can do from in here? Well, shit. Pardon my language. Not even sure what I just broke off. I think that was the gear shift. It's up inside the car somewhere. There's nowhere that I can pull this forward, so we're going to make it work, or we're going to break it. If we break it, we'll just put that cover on and call it a day. But if it's that tight, it definitely will not, the steering definitely will not work. So let's try taking that back off. See if this will come out. We'll lift that up, bring it back a little bit, pop this gear on here, and then see if we can get this back in place. that looks like it might actually, nah, not quite. I was going to say it looks like it might actually work. Would not be the first time, but it doesn't make sense that this would be incorrect spot there. Nope, that's too big. Okay, I'm going to have to, before I break something, pause the camera and look at this and see what I can do to fix it. Okay, so what I had to do was I'm just looking because I thought I broke something here. I didn't. What I had to do was I actually took my hobby hammer and knocked that down in, and now you can see it does turn. But I guarantee turning it with the steering wheel is not going to work in the long run. So it's going to be working, but it's not going to work. Close this door. We're going to pop this on here, and I'm looking, the D shape should be towards the front, I believe. Just making sure that this is all lined up correctly. No, it's not catching. It is D-shaped. But it is not wanting to go down completely and engage. There we go. Took a little bit of effort. And I'm making sure that the steering wheel is straight while I'm doing this. So it does engage. It does look like it should stay in place. So we take the second largest gear, and it's going to sit on this post. Yeah, it should be on this post. And again, does not fit very well onto this gear. I also do what I did on the other spot. I'm going to bend this post just a hair, get that pushed down. So it's not all the way down yet. Okay, let's see. Yeah, no wonder they say you're going to break the steering if you do it that way. It does work, but man, is it stiff. Wheels are straight. The last part to go on here is this little gear here, which I have misplaced my tweezers. Got a pair. Heard somebody yell over there. Anybody, it's an inside joke. If you're on Hobby Time Modelers on one of our streams, you'll understand. So let me see if I can get this to go on here. Turn it a little bit so I can actually hold the U-joint. And again, the hammer is coming into play. I was very impressed with the metal pieces, but I don't know if I am now. What we're going to do is we are going to take this gear back off. We're going to pop the universal joint back out. And we're going to take a pair of pliers. Before I go too far with that, maybe screw something up. Make sure that this thing is on here correctly. You got a D-shaped pin, D-shaped hole. That is actually all the further it wants to go down. Very gently make sure. I'm not saying you should do this. This is what I'm doing. Very gently making sure it's all the way down. Now we got to put this back on the steering wheel, put the steering wheel straight. Take a look. D shape is there, I believe. Push this down as far as it'll go. Pop this back on. And again, it is not engaging very well. Hammer it down again. I feel like a real mechanic. If it doesn't work, get a bigger hammer. I think that's in place. Let's turn the page and see what it says to do. Place gear with the gears aligning holes with posts as shown in the picture. So this is going to go on here like this. We need to push this in. How are we going to get this to fit in where it is supposed to go? Does it actually turn anything when you turn the steering wheel? It's not down on the steering wheel yet. Thought it was, but it's not. Yeah, it's slipping all over the place. Okay, pop this back off. And pull the universal joint back off. See, yeah, that gear is not coming back off. Tell you what, guys, I am going to pause the camera and get this on, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, I have the housing covering it right now. It's not bolted down, but I realized what the error of my ways was. If you watch, as I turn it, it does turn. But the key is that this is an older style rack and pinion. Let me see, that's close enough. It's an older style rack and pinion that is not immediately, it doesn't immediately start turning the wheel. You got to turn the wheel several times before these will actually move. So let me go ahead and let's see. We've got, what's it say to do? It says BPO 4, a 1. Okay, so we've got 3 BPO 4s and then 1 BDO 4 that are going to hold that cover on. BD10. Oh, okay. Sorry. it's one BD10 that goes in there. Pardon me, it's hay fever season. So let me get the BPO4s out. And it took a little bit, and what I actually ended up going back and doing to finally get the final good fit in there is this on top of the universal joint. I actually got it pushed all the way down. Make sure these are BPO4s going into plastic. This is one time I definitely need to do each one separately, or not do it, not get them all the way down until all of them are actually thread or started. Tighten it down. Because, and I say that because as I started to tighten it down, it started to raise the other corners. And then the BD10 screw is going to go into the top, the gear on the rack and pinion, or not the rack and pinion, but on the universal joint. So that screw is going to get dipped into the oil. And it is, overall, the steering is pretty tight. And there's a reason why they say not to, in the instructions, it says do not try to turn the steering by the wheels where you can on most other part works. Because there's so much travel on here, if you do that, you're going to strip it out. So definitely do not do it. Do not turn them by here. If you want to turn them, either do it by the steering wheel or leave this out. And then we're going to put this last cover on here. And make sure your switch is sticking out to where you can get to it. This cover, by the way, is also your battery cover, which is kind of funny that they tell you to put that on before they have you put any batteries in it. We're going to use BD03, and remember, D denotes die cast. These are going into metal. If you're doing this, and if you're building this, and you're using the oil, which you definitely should be, you need to dip them in oil at least the first time, because what we're doing is we are cutting threads into the die cast. And the oil helps to cut the threads. That actually went in there really nice and easy. I wonder if those didn't look, but I'm wondering if those threads were actually pre-cut. Got one in each corner of this steering box. And I'm sitting down so I can't see the hole. Come on, go into your home. And I will wipe the excess oil off of here. You could probably get away with leaving this box off, except then you run the risk of having things gum up your steering arm, or your steering box. That, after I get this last screw in, come on, get in there. For some reason, the screws are popping off the end of the screwdriver. There we go. Go around, tighten them all down completely. And this, oops, I'm sitting here trying to tighten it down where there's oil. Okay, this block with the large check mark is where they tell you not to turn the wheels other than with the steering wheel from this point forward, or I thought that first time I read that, I was like, what do you mean? And then I realized the steering mechanism is all metal, and the because it's metal and it takes so far to turn, the wheels definitely could damage the steering. I think actually looking at it, I have my wheels slightly off, which kind of lines up with the kind of car this is. But let me double check. That is all there is to do in this stage. Let me look at book number 115. If it's, let's see, 115 is we've already done. Gas pedal, brake pedal, horn. Okay. So 115 we've already done, but when I tested the lights and the horn and everything. So let's go ahead and grab this baby and not break anything off while we're doing it. Not quite as heavy as, say, a DeLorean or a Ecto 1, but she's a little bit of a heavy beast. Matter of fact, we're going to take her and turn her around. Not lifting by the bumpers because I already said I broke one. And we're going to, our parting shot is going to be on the wrong camera. Let's see, which camera is that? That's the one I wanted because it's a better camera. We'll switch to that, and that will be our parting shot of the van for this video. See, that's okay. And open the door here. It was the gear shift that fell off. So I have the gear shift, the clutch, and the emergency brake to put back in. But that's all there is to do in this stage of the build. Hope you're enjoying this. Door doesn't quite fit the way it should. It's like it's loose. A shaving cream. That is not something I'm going to be able to fix. Those screws are a little bit loose. Actually, let me see. Sorry, I get sidetracked quite regularly on these builds. Can I get the screw head on there? Oh, that's something for off camera. But hope you're enjoying this build. If you are, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of any time I post new videos. Come on over to Hobby Time Modelers on Facebook, YouTube, and Discord. See what we're doing. We do streams twice a week. Sometimes currently we are doing 3 times a week because we have a buddy build going on. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. And I'll see you in the next video.